You know, you gotta pay attention to what makes you hard. Here's a story. Last night, I was lying in bed with a girl waiting for Uber Eats to show up, and the reception calls the room. They say that they're sending the food up, so what do? I take off the girl's panties, pull down her top, I start sucking her tits until her nipples are really hard. I shove her head onto my cock, the door knocks, and I send her to the door, pat, 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 to go open the door, stand in front of a stranger with her nipples hard, her pussy wet, and the taste of my cock in her mouth. So she comes back, I'm rock hard, I put on a condom, I fuck the shit out of her, and her legs are basically shaking for the next 30 minutes. So what's going on here? What's the dynamic that makes turning a girl into like daddy's little whore? What makes that hot? I'm gonna break it down for you right now as I fly to Dallas. I'm packing up my shit and at the gym and getting an Uber in like 30 minutes to go to the airport. And by the time you watch this, in a week and a half, I'm gonna be in Atlanta, just about ready to hit New York and then Chicago. So there are 3 reasons why making a girl do something slutty is really fucking hot. Reclamation sex is that first hot time you fuck your partner after you've been away for a long time or after she's been fucking somebody else. It's this idea, it's this hardwiring that we have inside of us that a girl is sort of owned by the last guy that she fucked. I know it's like misogynistic and shit, but it is kind of there. So say you have a friend with benefits, she sleeps with somebody else, you meet up with her, you know, that first time, you're trying to make a point. You're trying to like,
No. Right now, you're mine, bitch. You're fucking mine.
Another example, I remember this one time I volunteered on an organic farm in Malaysia, and there was this male goat there that was a pain in the ass until you wrestled him, and then you were like, no, I'm the dominant one, you're the submissive one, and then he would sort of calm out and he would like take the lead that he's gonna follow. But anytime the owner let him fuck one of the female goats, then he got it in his head that he's the alpha again, and he had to wrestle him all over again. He had to reclaim the throne of being the alpha. And for girls and guys, this is a spectrum. So a girl putting on something cute, dancing with a lot of guys at a club, she didn't fuck the whole club, but the hardwiring is like, she's a little more free, she's a little more out there, she's got her options open. And then that sex, after going out to the club, after guys have been drooling over, is hotter. That's point number 1, reclamation sex. The second reason turning your girl into daddy's little whore is anytime you tell a girl to do something and she does it, she's being submissive and you're being dominant. And the more submissive a girl is and the more dominant a guy is, it's like a negative and positive electrical charge. You get sparks. So when I told the girl, go open the door, that was a command. She could have said no, in which case she wasn't being submissive and we're like closer to the middle, less sparks. But she did it, it was submissive or sparks. So I'm in Texas. I was gonna finish shooting this vlog last night, but the girl was coming over right away, so I had to set up the room, blah, blah, blah. I went to sleep. Here we are. First afternoon in America. Got a second girl coming over later today in about 2 hours. So the plan is go walk, get some barbecue, and head back massage. And on the way, let's talk about the third reason why whoring your bitch out is kind of hot. And when I say whoring your bitch out, I don't actually mean that, though some people probably get off on that shit. What I mean is making your girl do something kinkier than she would normally do, or than she would give herself permission to do. So you're basically enabling her to be the slut that she has very deep inside of her. And because you're telling her to do it, it's basically like a role play. If she did it herself, she would actually be kind of slutty. But since you're telling her to do it, she's role playing being slutty. So role playing your girl being super slutty. If you think about it, you're like, ooh, that is kind of hot. But why? Why is that hot? The reason is, and this might seem old fashioned, guys are hardwired to care about sexual fidelity in girls. And they're always kind of monitoring girls and getting a rough model of like how loose they are, of how promiscuous or how conservative they are. You might have heard of the Madonna whore complex. That's basically like the spectrum. The less developed you are as a guy, the more it's like binary. You're either perfect, beautiful virgin, or you're this dirty whore who's fucked everybody and you're like sullied and broken. As you get more mature, that starts to blend into a spectrum. Hopefully you start to care less about it, but it's still there. And the reason guys evolved to spend precious brain cycles thinking about this is because it affects how they treat girls and also which girls they pick for partners. Which girls know, because if you're trying to meet a guy who is like boyfriend material, that's when you like pull back on the sluttiness and you start to be like, oh, okay, you know, you gotta wait 5 dates before we fuck. Where if you meet a guy who's just like a fuck boy, you just want some sex, first date is fine. Because when it's a potential boyfriend, you're trying to be a little bit more of that Madonna and a little bit less of the whore. But now we're coming to the point. Remember I said guys treat girls differently based on whether they think they're like a Madonna or a whore? This is very interesting. In the scientific literature, this is called perceived sperm competition, which means, do you think she been fucking? And this is a spectrum. An extreme case, no, would mean she's a virgin and you've like watched her entire life and you know she's never fucked anybody. There's no sperm sperm competition. There's no little dangly sperms hanging out in her vag. And on the extreme other end of the perceived sperm competition spectrum is like a threesome or a gangbang situation where you just saw a guy unload into her. And in that case, you know you want to dislodge that sperm, and two, you want to dump an extra load of sperm into her to compete for that one egg. And this is all subconscious stuff. You're not actually thinking about it like,
Oh, how many minutes has it been since somebody just came in her?
you're getting a general vibe and your body is responding to it without your brain really being involved. Now remember we said two things. You want to dislodge that sperm and you want to dump an extra heavy load into that girl. What do those actually look like? The first one, dislodging any sperm that might be in there, looks like getting your dick really fucking hard so the head of it is nice and flanged and it has more ability to work as a suction device, and then fucking her really hard and really long with that hard cock. Sounds like good sex. And then the second thing, that extra heavy load, what does that look like? Your body actually produces higher quality semen, like higher semen content in your ejaculate when you're with a girl who you have perceived high sperm competition with. And this has been studied in the lab by showing guys different types of porn and then checking out their ejaculate content after they jerk themselves off. So college dudes are brought into a lab, given two different video clips to watch. First clip is with the girl and a guy, and the second one was with the girl and the guy plus a second guy. Basically, more guys means more sperm competition, and they look at the ejaculate of the dudes afterwards, and there's more semen, there's more sperm in the second case with the threesome. And Chris Rock even has a bit about this where he's like, the two types of cum, like the one where your girl is saying all the right shit, and then the meh one with like some girl you've been with a long time. If you're a dude, you know exactly what this is like. Like sometimes you come just normal, sometimes you come hard. And that feeling of coming hard is actually your subconscious brain changing the content of your ejaculate to add more semen, and it just like comes out different, feels better. So the kind of fucked up thing is that your partner who you've been in a committed relationship with and who you know isn't sleeping around gets the shitty sex, because subconsciously you know you don't have to pump her out because there's no semen in there besides your own. And instead of having to dump that one high quality load in her because that's all the chance you're gonna get, you just dump normal loads in her like over weeks and weeks and months, and that's how you get her pregnant. Your body knows, I'm gonna be fucking her again next week. Let's not invest too much in this one load. Let's keep a little extra in there in case we come along a little chica who we need to dump in. And the more she's perceived to be a whore, meaning just promiscuous, means you're gonna give her better sex. So now back to the question of why it would be hot to role play having your girl be a whore. You're getting the best of both worlds. One, she's acting like a whore, so subconsciously your body is like, we better fuck her hard, we better dump some quality cum in her. And then the other part of the best of both worlds is she didn't actually like choose to do the things that she did. You told her to do them. So subconsciously you're like, she's not actually a slut, she's still a good potential long-term partner. That was a long third point. And the thing to remember about all this is it's all subconscious. You're not actually sitting down with a spreadsheet and thinking like, okay, how much of a whore is this girl? This stuff just feels good in varying degrees for different people. So have some body awareness and pay attention to what gets you hard, pay attention to what gets you wet. When you have great sex, think, what were the precursors to this great sex? It's just like food. If something smells good, it smells good. Don't overanalyze it, just do more of that. Which brings us to barbecue right here. Let's fucking dig in.